Good afternoon, friends, and welcome back to the podcast. This is your JRPG Report, episode 150. That's one of those nice even numbers, and it's, as I look back and think about it, it's just a number that I honestly didn't think was going to be possible, but I am happy to be here and joining you to talk about our favorite little niche genre of JRPGs. We've got a fun show for you guys today. No mailbag or any other questions. We got nothing but news on today's podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, my name is James Fisher, and I'm happy to be here with you. Going to lead off with a bit of a surprise announcement, and that is from the Atelier world. And I'm not going to talk about Ryza. This is actually Koei Tecmo and Gust have announced that they are going to be releasing some remasters for the Mysterious Trilogy. So that is Firis or Firis, not sure how you say Firis, Sophie, and Liddy and Swulle, Suelle. That's coming out on April the 22nd for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC via Steam. So you get all three of those. We've seen this do this before. They did that with the Arland trilogy. They remastered them on PlayStation 3. This is getting the same type treatment. The only thing this is going out worldwide, so it's coming out in both Japan and the West at the same time. There was no pricing set up for it in dollars yet, but we do have the yen price for it, and that is what it equates to about $112, so nearly 1,200 yen. If I recall, when the Arland set came out on PlayStation 3, I believe it was $100. So that would probably sound about right for PlayStation 4, maybe a little bit higher. They are individually, so you get quite a deal if you get the trilogy. So if you buy them individually, this is again in yen, it's 5,280. But if you get all three, it's 11,880. So if you mathematicians out there realize that's a pretty good deal, getting it that way. So that would indicate that they're probably going to go for 45 to 50 each. But if you get all three, you get that 3-pack, you might get a bit of savings. So I thought I'd played all the Atelier games, and then I see this come out, and I'm like, I think I played Sophie. Yeah, so I've got Sophie, and I missed the other two. So I'm kind of looking at this and wondering if I should look at that as well. It's going to be tough. Here's the thing to keep in mind, like I mentioned, I've not played the very early ones, but I started with Verona on PS3, and this series has definitely made improvements with each game. Ryza and now Ryza 2 kind of made some very good needed changes to the formula. So if that's your entry point to the series, you may not love going back to it. There's some archaisms, as in like time limits for events. I famously remember Totri, the second game. I completely failed that game, not being defeated in battle, but there is a time limit to get things done, and I did not meet that window, and the game ended. Game over, game over, man. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So this does have sometimes, like, each time you explore an area, every time you gather an item, there's time taken off. So if you came in on Ryza, just keep that in mind, okay? You may be easily frustrated by some certain aspects to things that the older games had in them. Not to take away, they are still really, really good games, but there are certain things you will need to keep in mind, so to speak. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good deal. I'm really glad that they're doing stuff like this. In Japan, there's definitely going to be some deluxe editions as well. I'm not sure. We haven't got any indication on if those are coming over here or not. I'm sure there'll be some limited type things that you can get in, limited numbers that you can try to pick up. These also come with all the DLC that was previously released. So you're getting that added bonus in there as well. This will be the first time that both Sophie and, we're just going to call it Virus, are playable on the Nintendo Switch. So that's pretty cool. Then I'm kind of reading through the press release as this just came out a little while ago, so I'm kind of absorbing it as well. How do you feel about this? Do you even care about the Atelier series? Is this something that you wouldn't mind getting back into? I've had a bunch of people tune in for my live streams with Ryza 2, and like when this broke last night, they were like, "Oh, great, another, another investment to put into the backlog and get into." I would, if I'm giving advice on what to do, I definitely say go pick up Ryza and see if you like that, and then possibly go backwards. But it's going to be a little difficult. I'm loving Ryza 2, by the way. It's an improvement on pretty much every level. An already really good game. So if you are curious, you can tune into our nightly live streams on that. I've never really seen a sequel like this before. Same, using the same character in the same world. It's 3 years later than the first game, but you can tune in, and that's not going to ruin anything for the first game. They are connected, but not, if that makes any sense. I really can't draw too many parallels to that. Maybe like 10 and 10-2, but you wouldn't really understand a whole lot, but you could still play it and get satisfaction out of the game. But even, I'm saying, the events of part 2 have very little to do with what happened in part 1, other than it's another, adventure down the road with some of the same characters, but not all of them. So if you're curious, definitely check it out. We'd love to have you on there and see if it's something that you would like to get into. I've had a couple people ask me if it's any good. They pop in for live stream, ask me if it's any good. I'm like, it is, but you should definitely go get the first one because it's cheaper. I would think you could find it cheaper than this one, and see if this is what you want to get into. I would still recommend playing the first one. You're going to get more out of it as you would with any sequel. But yeah, it's good to see this series and getting the old re-release treatment as Ryza continues to do well, and I'm sure they're gearing up for for a third one. There's a whole new website that was dedicated to this special edition, so I've linked all that stuff over on our Facebook and Twitter channels. There's a video, of course, that goes along with it, showing the games in action, so you can check and see if this is something that would be up your tree or not. So as we move closer to its February 26th release, there's been some more information pop up about Bravely Default 2. They introduced the country of Holograd and its characters. So of course that means there's going to be some new jobs popping up outside of it. So this is a militant nation. They say that 300 years ago, a hero brought together numerous clans that were living in barren wastelands. That's how Holograd began. It has since annexed neighboring countries, and now other countries are strengthening their guard. When I first saw this, I thought maybe it was like a bad guy stronghold or something. It's very dark and forbidding. Even the characters that you meet could easily be confused as the bad guys of this story. But first we have Adamus Holograd. I guess he's a descendant of the people that brought together this town. He's an advocate of military arts and believes that the world will attain peace under the rule of the strong. He's a militant king, which is what the ruler is called. And so he introduces the job of Bastion. That's a tank job class balanced in offense and defense. They can generate a barrier for all party members and nullify damage just once. And so, yeah, kind of making a. No, I'm sorry, that is completely wrong. He is not. He's not that at all. He is the Hellblade class. So forget Bastion. We'll talk about that in a bit. Hellblade is a job that wields a cursed blade that risks taking their life. Attributes can be freely assigned to the blade to slaughter every enemy. So think like Dark Knight class. That's really what you're getting at. So the Bastion was actually after the character Matic. He is the Shogun of Holograd. As Sloane's former mercenary companion, his skills in the military arts compare favorably. He is a righteous military man who is both self-sacrificing and loyal to the supremacy advocated by Adamus. So yeah, he's your tank class, or at least one of them. Got the big, strong shield, big buff dude, kind of like the big Castlegate that we saw a few episodes ago. And yeah, that's kind of, what you get with that guy. You've got Mora, who is the Phantom Asterisk holder, one of Adamus' subordinates, a woman who has mastered the art of shape-shifting to disguise her gender and age. She is fond of Adamus and prepared to throw away everything to serve him. So, yeah, like I said, she is the Phantom class, and it's kind of like a ninja or an assassin type, but a little bit more deadly, it seems like. Well, not more deadly than an assassin, but is a job that specializes in quick attacks using a short sword. With their high evasion rate and overwhelming number of hits, they can use 2 blades to defeat their opponent without giving them time to attack. That would sound like a pretty fun class to get into. And then you have Vishnu, who is the Arcanist. He is one of Adamus' subordinates, a mage who claims to have mastered the art of death magic. He once lost a battle against Elwis's teacher, Emma, and has held a grudge ever since. A very cool-looking class. He's got these like goggles and weird-looking top hat along with his staff. So the Arcanist is a job that specializes in powerful magic that hits all enemies. This even includes super powerful magic that can involve party members. Think back to, trying to think, some magic that used to do that in some of the older Final Fantasies. I thought Ultima, but I don't think that actually hits you. But yeah, think about that, where it's magic that's so powerful that it even hits you, and you're kind of like, oh man, that stinks, but it kind of makes sense in the same idea. So they're talking about this counters and jammers situation that's going to pop up against strong enemies and certain other monsters. They may have the skill to counter your actions. There are counters, which counter against attacks, obviously, and jammers, which counter against actions other than attacks, such as a counter to using an item. In battles against strong enemies, you must plan your strategy to avoid severe counterattacks from these skills. That sounds rude. But you can kind of build up some of your job skills with job points, and one of the best ways to do that is through consecutive battles. Anytime you touch a monster on the field, any nearby monsters will also get dragged in, triggering consecutive battles. Of course, there are risks to this, but you can also earn a significant payout of job points depending on the number of battles included. So that's pretty cool. As I said, Bravely Default 2 is due out for the Switch worldwide on February 26th. There was a bunch of screenshots, obviously, going along with all these. I put those into a slideshow and put them on our YouTube channel, JRPG Report, over there. You can, like I mentioned before, you can check out that trilogy for the Atelier Mysterious trilogy. There's a trailer there, and there's a bunch of trailers this week. We're going to talk about a few of them here in just a moment. Hope you guys enjoyed the Sunday special me and Jake put together. Of course, if you have not played all of Cold Steel 4 and a number of other games, you would have not have enjoyed our Sunday special, as it was a spoiler cast of epic proportions. We went through everything in the first half of the game, and as we were sitting there recording, we got to that point, and I looked at the clock, realized we were not even halfway through our conversation, and said, whoa, we've been rambling on too long, and I did not want to have a super long episode. That would just be tragic. You can always listen to it in 2 parts, and that's what we're going to do. So part 2 of that Sunday special conversation with Jake will be coming out this Sunday. Gives you another week to finish the game, so you can check that out. But yeah, we spoil absolutely everything. And after we got done, like the next day, I got to think, I was like, man, we actually didn't talk about this. And this. Between both episodes, guys, we talked for 2.5 hours. Okay, so that's one reason why I broke it up into 2 parts. But yeah, there was things that we didn't even manage to touch on. We tried to hit them all, and there managed to be a couple that we didn't. But yeah, big shout out to Jake helping me put that together, and that was a super amount of fun to do. Let's talk about some trailers that have come out here this past week. Publisher D3 and developer Phystelia have released the first in a series of character trailers for the action RPG Magnum Lord. This first one will feature Dylus, and you can check that out on the YouTube channel, of course. As of right now, this game is due out for PlayStation 4 and Switch March 18th in Japan. Still not heard about a Western release, which is usually, we're talking about a little over a month away from this Japanese release. We at least know that it's coming to the West at some point in time. I would find it hard to believe that it wouldn't. Maybe where this is a smaller, smaller release, smaller company, they haven't been able to confirm that this is going to come to the West, but I feel like it would do okay over here, so I don't see why they wouldn't eventually do that. But you can check out that first character trailer for Dylus, and I'm sure there's going to be more of those coming along the way. Last week we had a trailer for Akaba's Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed. Well, there's 2 of them this week. One for the protagonist and one for Suzu Morizuma. First, the protagonist. Here's an overview of him. He's an 18-year-old prep student in school while in... I just got tongue-tied there for a minute. Akihabara, I still didn't do that very well. In pursuit of his friend who went missing, chasing the mystery of these shadow souls, he gets caught up in an incident that changes his fate forever. And then Suzu, she is a girl the same age as Ru Fumizuka. Everything she does with Ru. R-U-I. She seems to confront the protagonist, but what is her true identity? She is always hungry for a big meal. You'll need to know your Japanese for these trailers, as they are in Japanese, or maybe YouTube can translate it for you. Akaba's Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed is due out for PS4 and Switch May 20th in Japan. A Western release via Xseed Games is planned sometime in 2021. There is a trailer for the special edition. They're calling this the Premium Box Limited Edition in Japan for Rune Factory 5. Publisher Marvelous and developer Hakama have announced. This thing is going to go for a pretty penny, about $100, I do believe is the translation on this. This is for the Switch version. You get the special box visual book, a memorial soundtrack selection, and Rune Factory 4 Bachelorette/Bachelor costume set DLC. So if you're interested in this special edition, I've got that trailer on our YouTube channel. And no word if this version is going to come out in the West or not. I'd imagine there will be a Western version of this. It'll probably be in limited numbers, but that seems to be what they usually do with these things. Rune Factory 5 is due out for the Switch on May 20th in Japan and sometime in 2021 over here. This week's big release was Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. I'm sure some of you guys are playing that right now and hopefully enjoying it, as it came out a couple days ago. And what major JRPG would be complete without the Western release trailer? So that came out a couple days ago. You can check it out if you're on the fence about the game. Check out the trailer and check out the demo on the PSN store and see if this game is right up your alley or not. Our friends over in Europe will get this one tomorrow, February 5th, and in Oceania it'll be out on February the 12th. That's for PlayStation 4 now. Switch and PC owners, you are having to wait until this summer for this game. That's a long, long time. By the time this game comes out in the summer, it's going to be close to a year and 3/4, so almost 2 years to wait. That's a long time to wait for for a Ys game, and that stinks. But I know people are enjoying this one, and that's not all we have in Ys news. Kind of oddly, this one is only in Japan at the moment, but there is a mobile version of Ys 6, the Arc of Neptism, Nephinism. I don't even know. Jordan said this for me one time, and I forgot how he said it. Anyway, so this is officially titled Ys 6 Online, and will launch in this spring in Japan as a free-to-play title with in-app purchases. Publisher Restar Games announced. If you recall back at Tokyo Game Show, there was a mobile version of Ys 8 also announced. I don't think that game has come out yet. So Ys is jumping on the mobile platform full bore, and yeah, it's going to be a everything's going to mobile. The game first came out back in 2003 in Japan, and in the West in 2005. So quite a long time after it. So this will probably be a brand new version of it, a smartphone version. No word yet if this is coming over to the West or not. There were some really nice images that came out for it, but no other media yet. So we're not sure how this thing actually looks and plays in action. And I know it's something that you're probably not wanting to hear, but yeah, these games are going to get mobile versions. It just kind of stinks. They had that Near Reincarnation live stream, speaking of mobile games, and there was a new movie. The opening movie was released for it to kind of get people excited about this mobile game coming out on February 18th in Japan. If you'd like to check that out, well, you know where to head, over to our YouTube channel. There is a Western release planned, but no release date has been announced just yet. We do have a release date for Christ Tales. Well, sort of. Remember, this one got pushed back. It was supposed to come out, November was the last time I think it got pushed. I think it was like September, and then it got pushed to November. Well, now it is saying July. They're not going to put a number on it just yet, that's a pretty far ways away to put an actual number on it. But they're saying this one will come out in July for $39.99. Publisher Modus Games and developers Dream Unincorporated and SYCK announced. Now, this game is coming out for literally every system. So, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, PC via Steam, Epic Game Store, Stadia, and I always get confused when I say GOG. What does that mean? What is GOG? What platform is that? GOG.com? Okay, well, it's available on that, whatever that means. Is that another version of Steam? What is that? Somebody tell me. It is literally, if you've got something that plays video games other than your phone, you can play this game, and it does look pretty cool. So, in addition to that release date, there was a new overview trailer that came out for it. Remember, you can play the demo for this at any point in time to check it out for yourself. And I'm really looking forward to this epic love letter to classic JRPGs, an amazing art style, the really cool past, present, and future gameplay aspect to it. And I really feel like July is a great release date for it. I was looking forward to it coming out last year in November, right? But I also knew that was a terrible time for that game to come out. It would have gotten completely lost. And you release a game at that point in time around Christmas, yeah, you might get some additional sales. You also may get completely buried in the Christmas madness. And there was already a bunch of stuff coming out then. This kind of puts it on its own. We don't really have anything that's confirmed for July yet that I can think of. There's a few other like Disgaea 6 is in that summer range, and a few others will pop up as we get closer to it. But this could be a perfect time for that at $39.99. It does suggest that it's maybe a shorter game, which after playing some of these long ones this year, I'm kind of, looking forward to some shorter ones as in Ryza 2 that I know is not going to be over 100 hours by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, well, once I hear a actual concrete date, I'll pass it along to you guys as well. Going on right now is the Steam Game Festival from February 3rd until the 9th. And you can check out a bunch of different games during this. One of them that popped up that you may be kind of interested in, there's a demo for it, is, I'm not sure how to say this, so I'm going to give it my best chance. Shashibato, President, It's Time for Battle, Muju Wars. That's a handful. This is a turn-based roguelite fantasy strategy RPG that's supposed to be coming out this spring for PC only at this point. So that's kind of, that's a little bit different. This is an all-new Japanese strategy RPG based off of, I believe that's an anime of the same name. Jump into battle with up to 5 teammates at once, featuring a 3D anime style and full 3D backgrounds. As the president of a modern-day adventuring company, hire and train new warriors to send out and conquer dungeons in a unique and innovative character development system. Randomly generated enemy groups and hidden treasure means infinite exploration. You'll take the control of our hero, a young entrepreneur who's in charge of that company. One day, as you're out shopping for some new gear, a massive earthquake rumbles throughout the city. Upon setting outside, you notice that where your company office once stood, a mysterious portal has appeared. Now you must delve into the dangerous business of dungeon exploration in order to rescue your employees and restore your business. It does feature, this strategy RPG does have turn-based battles. Take control of up to 5 units against fierce enemies. Sounds pretty interesting. The visuals aren't like top notch, but they're also not bad. I thought there was a price point on this that was pretty cheap. Maybe I can't seem to find that at the moment, but I think this was a budget priced title as well. You can check out, there's not only a introduction trailer, but there's also like a battle trailer. I've got both of those over on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It looks interesting. Like I said, for some reason I thought I saw it was going to be like $5.99. That may not be fair to quote that price if that's not what it is. But yeah, you can head over to Steam and download that right now and just see. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's something that you didn't even know you was waiting on, and you actually are. I think it does kind of resemble like a mobile type, but I think it's a lot better than that. And obviously, it's got Steam and PC power behind it, so it can't be too awful. Coming up on March 7th is going to be the Grand Blue Fantasy 7th Anniversary Special live stream. There'll be news, giveaways, and much more. Just kind of putting the placeholder out there just in case. There's further details will be announced at a later date, but I'll at least keep my finger on this one and see if any relink news pops up. This is definitely more for the I believe the mobile anniversary, but you never know. Sometimes those things do come out and you just don't even know it. Last week in Japan, Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny came out, and it was the highest selling new release of the week. It sold a total of just under 40,000 copies. Doesn't sound like a lot, right? That sounds pretty low. So if you go back and look at Disgaea 5's opening week, now it was just on PlayStation 4 in 2015, but it only sold 22,525. So just by those numbers, it does appear that sales were up. However, like if you look at like its Switch sales alone at 23.5, it's still below how many copies of Animal Crossing were sold. It's number 4 on the week. Animal Crossing just it refuses to go away. I actually saw the other day that it's soon going to be the best-selling Switch title. That's really amazing considering all the other titles that are available for that game. The Final Fantasy 14 patch 5.45 is I believe, is that live now? What's the date on this? Yeah, it went out a couple days ago, February 2nd. So you can check that out now if you're a Final Fantasy 14 player. There was a new hairstyle, mount, and emotes, new furniture items, new quests, of course, and what was it? New content for Blue Mages. So there you go. Yeah, a new hairstyle. That seems like okay, cool, whatever. If you are a Xbox Game Pass subscriber, is that the proper term for it? We talked a little bit ago about all the Final Fantasy titles that were already on there. One of the ones that was not is Final Fantasy 12: The Zodiac Age. Well, let's see what day it's coming out. It's coming out on February the 11th. So just in time, in perhaps in honor of Dalton's playing of Final Fantasy 12: The Zodiac Age over on his Steam Machine podcast, Xbox said, "Hey, let's get this thing out there." Now he's playing it on the PC, and he has informed me of how wonderful that thing is running at 4K and max, all those PC fun settings that you can really make it look fantastic. I thought it looked really great on my PlayStation 4. I can only imagine how wonderful it looks at that high resolution and frame rate going on. But yeah, you can check that out on the 11th on your Xbox Game Pass. Wonderful. I enjoyed the game quite a bit when it first came out on PS2. Zodiac Age is a superior version of that game, plus the added visuals. You really... you can't go wrong with that one, but definitely go check out. I think Dalton's new episode will come out this next week. I don't know when. I think he records Sunday, so maybe next week. Just go out there and subscribe to it, and it'll automatically download into your onto your player, and you can check that out next week, I believe. Two final things to mention to you guys. This is another one that Dalton will be happy to hear it. Compile Heart has teased a new Neptunia game reveal sometime in the spring. And I know what you're thinking. Compile Heart is always working on a new Neptunia title, whether it's an old one or an offshoot. Or you are correct. Don't get me wrong. But in the spring, they will be revealing another title. I would have to assume it's going to be PlayStation 5. They're looking to move to that new platform. There was a really cute and fun little video that they did for it where one of their little mascots was in a video meeting or something like that. And they kind of just teased the whole information. I think I shared the story on our YouTube or on our Facebook and Twitter channels. So if you want to link onto that and check out their video, you can do that. And as soon as I hear what that title is this spring, of course, I will bring it to you. This wasn't big news. It was barely covered. The fine folks over at Cineconia picked it up, and this was at the Computer Entertainment Developers Conference. They held an interview with Final Fantasy VII Remake co-director Hamaguchi and producer Katase. And they kind of talked about how the whole thing started, but they also talked a little bit about the sequel. And I mean, we've talked enough about Remake. I don't want to really get into that too much. But as far as the sequel goes, he revealed there was a interesting change among the Eternal team. Although the staff on Remake were fans of the original game, the team on the sequel enjoyed the remake and wanted to be part of the upcoming title specifically. Hamaguchi also elaborated that his goal on the sequel is to allow players to experience what the world outside of Midgar feels like. Katase also said that the upcoming title will surprise players in the same subversive way. Yeah, well, we were already pretty pretty surprised with the way remake part 1 went, so the door's wide open onto how this one is going to play out. I still don't think we're getting this one. I mean, it's certainly not coming out this year. There's been no indication whatsoever that it's coming this year. I think we'd be lucky to see it next year, especially with the move to new hardware. You know this thing is going to come out on PlayStation 5. There may be a PS4 version of it, but we're quite a ways away. But we'll wait and see. Speaking of Final Fantasy VII, we had part 2 of our retro stream on Tuesday. If you'd like to be a part of that, where do we get to? Oh, we're about to we're escaping the sewers and we're into the train graveyard for part 3. That'll be tomorrow, Friday, February 5th, and we start around noon Eastern Standard Time. So you do the math. If you need to wake up a bit early, that's fine. But we have a lot of fun on those as I break the I break the mic out for our daytime retro streams and can chat and talk a little bit more fluidly as I play through this game. Of course, we talk about, the game itself, but we end up talking about all sorts of different stuff that go on, whatever topic comes up. That is fine with me, but invite you to join us those every Tuesday and Friday, as long as I can do them. If I'm not some other commitment, around noon Eastern Standard Time, I'd love to have you guys join in. And each night, we'd kind of do an old-fashioned stream where I'm playing through Atelier Rise at 2 right now. I don't talk on those. We just type out in the chat. I try to comment on things as they pop up. But those are a lot more chill anyway, just kind of relaxed and playing along. And everybody's asleep, so I can't really talk on the microphone. Don't forget, give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Please subscribe on YouTube. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me if you hit the bell and notifies all this stuff, but if you have a YouTube account, I really would appreciate your subscription. We're inching closer to 700. My ultimate goal is at least 1,000, because that does get you into YouTube's monetization program, but got a ways to go before that. But I would really appreciate your sub over there. And if you love what you hear here on the podcast, if you really enjoy our live streams and content on YouTube and what I'm doing there, please consider either clicking the link below through Anchor to financially support us, or over on Patreon. You can do that as well. I would really, really appreciate it. That's going to do it for episode 150. Hard to believe, like I said, but still having a lot of fun and planning on steamrolling right into the next 150. My name's James Fisher. This has been your JRPG Report. And until next time, which next time is our Sunday Special Part 2, but until next time, get back out there and level up.